Have you ever stopped to wonder what makes some brands totally unforgettable, while others just, fade into the background? Today, we're going to dig into that. We're going to figure out what separates a brand that's just another option on the shelf from one that people would genuinely, truly miss if it vanished tomorrow. Let's get into it.
So let's kick things off with a little thought experiment. I call it the disappearance test. It's super simple, but it's also incredibly powerful for getting a real read on brand strength. And as we go through this, I want you to think about your own business or maybe a brand that you absolutely love.
Okay, here it is. Ask yourself this, and be really honest. If your brand just poof disappeared overnight, would anyone truly notice? I mean, would your customers feel a real sense of loss, or would they just kind of shrug and move on to the next best thing? This one question, it gets right to the heart of what your brand is actually worth. And that right there is the core of what we're talking about today. You see, getting seen, that's just marketing. It's about eyeballs and impressions. But being missed, well, that's something else entirely. That's a sign of a deep, powerful connection. That is the true measure of value.
So, the big question is, how do you become a brand that gets missed? Well, it all starts with understanding the two fundamental ways a customer can relate to you. It's either just plain old usage, or it's real, genuine attachment.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got usage. This kind of relationship is, well, it's built on sand. It's all about logical stuff, right? A good price, it's convenient, it's just a habit. It's so fragile. But then over on the right, you have attachment. Now this is built on solid rock. We're talking about things like trust, identity, real emotion, and meaning. That's a bond that's built to last. In this right here, this house of cards, it just says it all, doesn't it? When your relationship with a customer is purely transactional, based on a coupon or because you're the closest option, it's incredibly fragile. The second a competitor dangles a better deal, that whole thing can just come tumbling down. There's no loyalty there. None. Okay, so if being purely transactional is the trap, what's the prize for avoiding it? What does a brand actually gain when it reaches that level of attachment, when it becomes a brand that would actually be missed? The prize is this incredible thing called emotional equity. Now, this isn't something you can track in a spreadsheet. It's the value your brand holds inside a customer's mind, in their memories and their feelings. It creates a kind of loyalty that goes way beyond just simple logic. And the benefits? They are absolutely huge. When you have emotional equity, your customers will actually forgive you when you mess up. They'll wait for you when you're out of stock instead of just buying something else. They will happily ignore cheaper alternatives. And maybe best of all, they become your biggest fans, your most passionate advocates. This is the superpower of the brands we all know and love. Okay, so that's the what and the why. We get it. It's important. But how? How do you actually build this stuff? How do you design a brand that creates this kind of deep emotional connection with people? Well, here's the blueprint, basically broken down into 4 key pillars. First, you have to create memory structures, linking your brand to powerful ideas. Second, you have to become a part of your customer's identity. Third, it's about building psychological comfort through things like trust and just being reliable. And finally, you have to strive for meaning by really connecting with your customer's emotions. Let's zoom in on one of these. I really want to focus on that second point for a second because it is just so incredibly powerful. You see, the strongest brands, they're not just products you buy. They become badges. They're a signal. They let the customer tell the world something about who they are. When someone chooses your brand, what they're really saying is, this is me. And that kind of connection, that's almost impossible for a competitor to break. So let's bring this all home. We've gone from understanding the problem of just being seen to chasing this amazing goal of being deeply missed. So what's the big idea we should walk away with? It really boils down to this. Attention, well, attention gets you seen, but it's emotion that gets you remembered. And we can take that even one step further. Building trust? Yeah, that's great. That might get you chosen in the moment, but it's meaning, that deep connection to a customer's own identity and values, that's what makes sure your absence would leave a real hole. Meaning is what gets you missed. And at the end of the day, that's the real goal, isn't it? To build something that actually lasts. Because in today's crowded world, it's not the loudest or even the most visible brands that survive. It's the ones that would leave a hole if they were gone. The brands that are missed, those are the brands that last.